Officers on the pursuit call. Suspect vehicle was last seen heading north near the power station. Containment will be set up ahead of his last known direction of travel. This call is still code 6. Handle on TAC 3.
So, supposed to be taking the car to Sound Performance this morning. It is like 6 o'clock. I'm supposed to be meeting the tow truck driver at my garage at 6:30. I have about a 30-minute drive and I'm late. So we are off to a great start. Let's put the rubber to the road. All right, so I made it, beat the tow truck driver here. I guess we both were running a little bit late because it's like 6. I got here at 6:40. Just 10 minutes, you know, nothing crazy about it. Car's here. Let me just get this thing to be hauled, just get the stuff off of it and the stuff out of it. And then I also want to like write like a note because they're supposed to be doing the parasitic drain, so I just want to put in a note to help the technicians on, you know, when they see it, they're gonna see this that comes off the battery and be like, oh, well, what's that? And then they'll eventually find the panel and the switches. So I want to just let them know what that is and what that goes to, so that they can kind of, you know, aid it with what they're doing. So let's get started on that. Here we go again. Man, these welded discs with these tires, it's a whole workout. It's a whole workout. And my man Billy over there, we all good. She's looking good. We're straight. Car is gone. Got it taken care of. It's on its way to Sound Performance, so let's meet them there. That's the Sound Performance. S14 over there, and we're just around the corner from it. Guys that follow the channel for real, this isn't my first time being here, but you know, when it comes to pulling up to a shop like this, you always want to record what you get, because they are really good with all types of stuff. So yeah, but they're primarily for Supras and stuff like that. So here, this is what we'll do. All right, but yeah, you can see they're all about their Supras. Cars in there, but we got all types of stuff over here. We got another 240. So they got an S14 a little bit farther down, and this is a S13. Actually, this is pretty decent setup wise. Okay, Sylvia front end. Holy shit, what is this? Is this a Scion? What the hell? Interesting body kit. Looks like we got a Paul Walker lookalike. But everything looks good here. Alright guys, I am back at the garage. Just kind of cleaned up a little bit in here, but we forgot the hood, so I'm bringing the hood to Sound Performance just in case the car has to sit outside or something like that. And I immediately noticed a problem. Not nothing too crazy. These are eBay hood pins, but this one is broken. So I only have one working hood pin right now. That's beautiful. So once I get everything squared away, I mean, I don't really want to keep this hood. I want to trade it for the Origin hood, but it's just very hard to move S15 parts, and I've shipped one hood before. It was terrible. I'm not trying to ship another one. Not too many people with S15 front ends in the Midwest area for me to get rid of this thing. It's in rough condition, so I would sell it for cheap, but there's just not that many S15 front end people in this area. So I'd probably end up junking it, which is sad because it is a veil slide hood. I don't know if it's a rep or if it's an original one, but it is a veil slide hood, and it's pretty cool. I just don't like the hassle of having a vented hood. and I would prefer to have a little more clearance. So I like the Origin Type 2, I think, for the S15 hoods, because it has that extra like scoop of clearance in there. Don't have to cut that much, you know, the whole nine. But I'm gonna strap it down to the car and get up out there. Chicago traffic is absolutely terrible. It took me an hour to get out here, an hour to get back to Sound Performance, drop the car off, 30 minutes to get home, another hour to get back here for the hood, and I'm gonna have to drive another hour to get back to Sound Performance. So we just taxi cabbing all today, but fortunately this is the last trip for the day. If anything, I'll have one tomorrow to bring the car back, but we won't know. They may have an update for us when we get there. It's been a decent amount of hours since we first dropped it off. I think we dropped it off at like 9. It's currently what, 2? So yeah, we'll see. Pulled up to Sound Performance again. That's 14's over there. Gonna get the damage report and see what we got going on. Let's get this party started. I always love the atmosphere of this area. Well, we got it up in here. I thought these were on. Are they on? I'm trying to see. Does that look on to you? That looks on to me. Yeah, third brake light's on. It looks good, honestly. If I had to guess, plane coming in. I appreciate them for parking it under here with the, you know, vents and stuff like that. One thing they did tell me about was the rear tires. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not bad at all. Got a little gash in there. Okay. But there it is over there. And that brake light is definitely on. We are out here possibly doing first start. I feel like I'm talking and repeat. Not first start, first drive. I feel like I'm on repeat, and I don't know, it's just a lot of feelings, but here we go. Or maybe not. Wow. I can't even believe that that's like what's going on, you know? Uh-oh. got the car back. I'm using a different phone because my phone has died. So we're gonna see how this works within the footage imported and stuff like that. But yeah, I do have a laundry list of things to do on the car. The main things are what they noted here. Fuel and oil pressure. My oil pressure sensor does work. They just recommend that I have the oil pressure sensor and the fuel pressure sensor have direct feeds or direct communication to the ECU, since Link kind of uses those for a lot of things. Fuel pump wiring is not necessarily wrong. I did go back and clean that stuff up right here, but the wires that are back there are just not big enough for, they're not big enough for the pump without like getting hot. You just got to go with a bigger gauge wire and then those will be good. The alternator is one thing that I didn't know about at all. So my alternator on this car does not work, or based on what they're saying, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't seem to be charging the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. Fan shroud is one thing, and then they recommend me getting a idle motor, just because it's pretty hard to, they said on cold start you got to give it a little gas to get it going on cold start, but once it's warm it's fine. So there's that. And then the power distribution and all the wiring issues. So with all the wiring issues and stuff like that, what I'm pretty much going to do at this point is rip everything out. Now I won't be doing that while I'm here in Chicago because I'm about to move, but after I move, I'll take out the entire interior and everything, and every single wire that is factory on this car will get ripped out completely. And I'm gonna go, not necessarily full race car, but I won't have the actual harness. It'll just be the engine harness, ECU, and then whatever else I need is gonna be wired to a switch. So the windows, the sunroof, headlights and taillights, those will all be wired to a switch, and then that'll be it, to be honest with you. So there's that. I will get an AC system in the future, but it's probably gonna be one of those like aftermarket AC ones that can kind of have like as a standalone. I do still have the compressor for this engine, which is great. I'm glad I kept it. Didn't plan on getting rid of it anyway. So it probably won't be that hard to make something like that happen. But, you know, small steps. Good thing is the car runs, car drives. Not the best, but hey. Another thing, you may have heard it in the clip, possible, but second gear definitely grinds. That, I believe, is due to the clutch, because if you watch the channel, you'll know that the transmission is a CD09, and it is brand new, freshly rebuilt CD09. All synchros and everything in the gearing is brand new. So I think it's the clutch, because the clutch starts to fully engage towards the ground, and if that's the case, it's probably not fully disengaging, which is what's making it hard for first to second to take place. So I'll probably take a look at that, try to bleed it a little bit more, and go from there, see what we got with that. What else? I'm trying to think about drivetrain stuff, not exterior stuff. My alignment is completely fucked, but we already knew that. As for the rears, so we have a gash here, this line down here, and that is from the car squatting on the dyno. Now, these rear over fenders are gonna have to be recut underneath these. They're gonna have to be recut and properly welded so that I can have more clearance to allow for this thing to squat. I'll probably have to get better coilovers. I think the coilovers for this one, for the car, are shot. They're the same ones that came on it, so yeah, I ain't really too butthurt about that. But yeah, so we got that on the left side. It doesn't look like we have it on the right side, but you know, that's neither here nor there. So that's one thing. And let me think, what else do we got going on here? The third brake light is always on, as you can see. So that's another thing. Could be the switch, unsure. Let me see what else. the alignment, all that stuff is. So I think that's the main gist of everything. I do have the list here. Fuel, pump wiring, alternating fan shroud, idle motor, distribution. That's the main stuff. This is all the extra stuff. Yeah, the rest of the stuff is just like proper mount of the oil cooler and, you know, come back, you know, have an exhaust and stuff like that. So that's pretty much that. But the real thing is this first dyno sheet. So even with all those complications, from a tuning standpoint, there were a few issues like the boost controller having to be downgraded. We had some issues with the throttle. The intake air temperature sensor is burnt out completely. So that's the whole thing all on its own, and all the boost leaks that they had to correct and so on and so forth. We still managed to make 370 horsepower. 373, 372, however you want to look at it. We still managed to make 370 with all of these bugs and switches and all that stuff. One thing that they did let me know of was this intercooler, which actually is an eBay intercooler. I got it from before I had this swap. This intercooler is, he was like, if you get a better one of those, you'll probably gain a couple, like 10 PSI of boost that you might be losing there. So that's definitely on the list to upgrade. But yeah, so that's that. You know, other stuff like the fan being loose on here type stuff. So we got some work cut out for us, but it runs, it drives. We have a dyno starting, you know, point, and we can work with this. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna leave it here. There may or may not be a video for a while, just because I was saying I am moving. I wanted to get the car running and driving before the move, and now that it is running and driving, I need to prioritize the move. I don't need to be spending $2,000-$3,000 on a chassis wiring harness if I need to, you know, spend $2,000-$3,000 on like a truck to move all my stuff out of state. So we got a long way to go, but this basically marks the beginning of chapter 3 because we can now actually use this thing. So I'll just say like, comment, subscribe, follow the build, and until next time.